Welcome to Extraterrestrial Reality. I'm walking through some woods here in Pennsylvania. Beautiful place. I'm going to go over here by this stream. Yeah, we're going to talk about a couple of things today. And should be very interesting. We're going to focus later on about debunkers. Anyway, look at this. Nice quiet stream. You know, I gotta hand it to Marek von Rennenkamp. He's one of these people who keeps just slamming them across the face, all the debunkers out there. He's always going after Mick West and pointing out all the issues with West's analysis. And of course, Rennenkamp was a analyst with the Department of State's Bureau of International Security and Non-Proliferation. He was also an appointee to the Department of Defense under Obama. But you got to really appreciate people like him, people like Christopher Sharp with the Liberation Times, you know, who are consistently talking about the machinations ongoing with regard to efforts to get the truth out about the UFO issue to the public. And so I really appreciate it. And he has a new article here that appeared in The Hill, and I want to go through some of this. He's talking about retired Army Lieutenant General H.R. McMaster. And this is what it says. It says, former National Security Advisor and retired Army Lieutenant General H.R. McMaster became the latest official to make eyebrow-raising comments about UFOs, now formally rebranded as Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena, or UAP. Asked about UAP during a September 6th appearance on Real Time with Bill Maher, McMaster stated that there are phenomena that have been witnessed by multiple people that are just inexplicable by any kind of science available to us. So you even have people like McMaster talking like this. And yet we still have all these naysayers out there saying there's nothing to it, calling people like Lou Elizondo a liar, people like David Grush a liar. We have people who were actually in the inside saying otherwise. Are all these people lying? As we all know, they're not lying. There is something going on. There's been crash retrieval and recovery reverse engineering operations ongoing. The research is there. It shows. There's no doubt. But yet we still have all these people running around playing make-believe, playing pretend. McMaster's intriguing comments come at a critical moment in a growing national discussion about UAP. The Senate is poised to take up the bipartisan UAP Disclosure Act, arguably the most extraordinary legislation ever introduced in Congress. Yeah, that Disclosure Act, you know, all these people in Congress wouldn't be talking this way if there wasn't something to it. They wouldn't be putting their necks out for this, but yet we still have all these people making stupid, ridiculous comments all the time on a regular basis all over Twitter, and I don't understand it. But here's another one. It says here, sponsored by, they're talking about that UAP Disclosure Act. Of course, as we know, it got gutted. It should have been in the NDA of 2024, the National Defense Authorization Act, but it was gutted because some of the puppets that the Pentagon has installed in the House as well as in the Senate decided they weren't going to do anything with it. They're going to gut it. So that's what's going on with that. Anyway, it says here, sponsored by Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Mike Rounds. That's a Democrat and a Republican, right? So this is a bipartisan thing going on. These people, again, they're not going to put... This is probably one of the only things that people in Congress are getting along about. This is it. The Disclosure Act alleges that a decades-long government legacy program has secretly retrieved and is attempting to reverse UAP of unknown and non-human origin. Not only is non-human intelligence formally defined, but the attention-grabbing term appears 24 times throughout the 64-page legislation. Astoundingly, the Disclosure Act would also require the federal government to take possession of any and all recovered UAP and biological evidence of non-human intelligence transferred to private defense contractors. You have to read this article. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I just want to read little bits and pieces of it. But he talks about some of the other people who have talked about this over the last few years have made very intriguing comments, like John Ratcliffe, who was the former director of national intelligence, Bill Nelson, the NASA administrator, who said in 2021 that the recent military encounters with UAP could have extraterrestrial explanations. Who else? Oh yeah, former presidents Clinton, Obama, and Trump generated headlines when asked about the phenomenon in recent years. Echoing McMaster, former Joint Chiefs of Staff Chair General Mark Milley said last August that some reported UAP incidents are really kind of weird and unexplainable. Yeah, because it's creatures that are more intelligent than us that are using some kind of technology that exceeds anything that we have. That's just the obvious answer. And there's people in this control group who already know this, and they're keeping it a secret for all these years. And we're trying to pry it off them. And meanwhile, we still got all these idiots all over Twitter. You know, all these debunkers, Mick West, Stephen Greenstreet, Brian Dunning. I mean, God knows how many. There's all these people. And they just keep babbling on and pretending that there's nothing to this. These people are total fools. And that's what I want to get into today here a little bit. I want to talk about these fools. And particularly, we're going to focus on Mick West. You know, Mick West has been tweeting. It's a constant thing. It's a sanctimonious, self-righteous. He thinks he puts himself up on a pedestal, and he tries to make it look like anybody who is interested in disclosure or who believes in this phenomenon are foolish and idiots, when in fact the fact of the matter is he's the idiot. This guy, I mean, yeah, he's an intelligent guy. He knows computers, and he made video games, but he's an idiot. Otherwise, he has no common sense. Either that, or he just is scared out of his mind. I know some people are out there saying that he's doing this for money. I don't know if I believe that. I'm not saying it's not true. It could be true, but I think he's just scared, and he enjoys just pretending that it's not real. This guy does not live in reality. And I want to talk about some of these recent tweets. This is what he wrote on September 11th. He tweeted, 3 years ago, Eric Weinstein asked me what I thought the least interesting version of the UFO disclosure story was. I stand by my answer. It's somewhat mundane in that there's no aliens, no vast conspiracy, but I think it's still interesting and important. Okay, so he thinks the most mundane answer to this is that there's nothing to it at all. That's what he thinks. That's what he's saying. And that's what I actually think that's what he thinks, or he wants to think. He's hoping that's what it is. Let me tell you something. It's not. It's definitely not. And we have evidence that shows that. We've been talking about it here on my channel for a long time. Mick West won't address that, though, because you know what? He's a chicken. He's a chicken. He won't even dare try it, because you know what? I'll have him for lunch if he tries. Like I did with that. Who was that guy? There was two boneheads that came out with this academic paper a couple of months back, 2 or 3 months back. And then, I talked about it on my show. It was completely absurd. These guys were completely rabid. They sounded like nuts in this paper. I talked about it before. They sounded like fanatical, tuggy cultists. That's what they sounded like to me during some ceremony for Kali. I mean, that's how they sounded. I mean, if you read this paper that they put together, they put out this supposedly intelligent academic style paper, right? You would think that these guys are two nuts that just are afraid of facing reality. So I talked about that, and then one of these guys, one of these boneheads, Louis Cayetano, he started talking back to me on Twitter. He got all upset about it, about what I was saying, and he tried to tell me that the Las Vegas evidence that I was talking about, that there's nothing to it, it's crazy and all this stuff, but he didn't have any sort of there's no technical objection that he could offer. All he could do was say he doesn't believe it. That's all he could do, because that's all they got. They got nothing. I mean, Mick West, last September, he told Inside Edition that Kenmore family, all they saw that was either raccoons or coyotes could have been responsible. And as we know, we have since proven, with the help of the crime scene reconstruction expert Scott Roeder, he proved along with his team that there were actual alien creatures in there. There's no reason to get into the full story here, but we all know that now. It's been presented, it's been discussed ad nauseum on this podcast. But see, Mick West, he won't provide any comments now. None of these debunkers will. And if they do, they'll just get the same treatment that Louis Cayetano got. I mean, I'll have them for lunch. It'll be over. It's over. There's nothing they could say. But what they're doing, though, the problem is that the proof is out there that shows there's something here, but yet these people are still running around acting like it's not true. And here's something else he wrote. This was on September 12th. He tweeted this, Mick West, or X'd it, whatever you want to say. It says here, a big question in ufology is if alien crash sites are real. Pentagon UFO analyst Sarah Gam explains that they are because When watching UFO documentaries on Netflix, she can use her psychic ability to feel the residual terror that the aliens felt when they crashed. See, now the reason he's saying this now, this is he's trying to, he thinks that this is total nonsense. And, you know, and that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to, so what if this person, this one person, he's like trying to show that, and as far as he's concerned, all of this stuff is nonsense because there's psychic abilities, all that stuff, there's nothing to that, right? But see, the whole problem, the whole premise that he has, it fails now because we have evidence of these creatures in this world. His whole premise of there being nothing to this or we not having any proof, it doesn't work anymore. All of these debunkers, the Green Streets of the world, they just keep making fools out of themselves. And then here's something from September 9th that he tweeted. Extraordinary claims need evidence, which would then be extraordinary evidence. Well, we already have the extraordinary evidence that's been presented, but you won't acknowledge it because you know there's nothing you could say about it. So instead, you're going on and pretending that there's nothing to this phenomenon, that it's all just dreamed up. Again, they place themselves on these pedestals and they act like these sanctimonious, intelligent know-it-alls, and they're not. They just look like fools. They're fools at this point, and I'm trying to point it out to them. They're just making fools out of themselves. This was from on January 17th, Enigma Labs posted, "We've crossed over 12,000 sightings submitted to Enigma. Our data science team ran the numbers and discovered some pretty interesting findings and patterns, and we're sharing them here." And so what did Mick West have to say about this? He writes this was on August 31st. He wrote, 12,000 UFO reports, talking about the 12,000 UFO reports that Enigma Labs had received. 0 unambiguously anomalous videos, 0 clear photos. This is a clue. Okay, that's what he wrote. This is a clue. So the clue he's trying to say, this is a clue. So trying to say that there's nothing to it. That's what he's trying to tell people, that there's nothing to it. See, this is a clue. Aren't you getting it? This is all nonsense. That's what he's trying to put out there. That's the kind of message he's trying to send out to people. And then he did something similar, and this was on September 13th. On September 13th, Jeff Knox, this guy, he posts all the time about classic UFO cases on Twitter all the time. And on September 13th, he posted one that happened in Guernsey in 2023 on September 13th. And there was a picture here, and it shows like a UFO circle that you can only see like a little dot in the sky. And this guy, Andre de Gurin, took a photo of what he said looked like a large triangle in the sky over the East Coast. So what does Mick West say to this? He writes, the discrepancy between eyewitness accounts and the photos they take remains quite consistent. It's a clue. See, again, he's using this, it's a clue, this sanctimonious, I'm better than you kind of attitude that he's trying to put out there. I'll tell you what's a clue. It's a clue that you don't have a brain in your head. You're scared. You're a scared rabbit. That's what you are, Mick West. I don't know what your issue is, right? But you avoid the proof. You stay away from it. You stay away from the hard evidence. You won't even comment on it because you don't got the balls to, right? You don't got the balls. That's what it is, Mick. You're a coward when it comes to the real stuff, right? Because it's real, and we've been proving it on my show as well as other shows over this past several months now, right? We actually sent a letter to the Pentagon and they never responded. That's over 3 months ago now. We pointed out to them that we have evidence now of an alien presence. There's evidence, and the evidence has been building up over these months since then too. And you won't even touch it. You're afraid. You're afraid. You're a coward. You won't even touch it. You won't even talk about it. And that's all I just want to say. I wanted to point that out today. I think it's important that I just want to make everyone to know it's a clue. What's a real clue here is that Mick West, by avoiding this Vegas aliens, right? It's a clue. He's scared of it. He won't dare touch it because he knows what's there, or he's afraid to find out what's there. One or the other. Either he knows it and he's just going to go keep stringing people along the way he is and pretend it's not there, or he's afraid to look at it. One or the other. It's a clue, Mick. It's a clue. And okay, one more thing I want to get into. There was a follow-up to yesterday's podcast, and I guess we got to... now, of course, if you listen to yesterday's short, brief show, it was only 15 minutes long, I believe. I was talking about this Aldo Ritondale. I think I got it this time. Ritondale. I think I figured it out. Ritondale. Okay, Aldo, I'm sorry about mispronouncing your name, if that is even your real name. I don't even know if you're a real person, for all I know. I don't really know. I'm not really sure at this point, you know. But anyway, you know, everyone knows what I was saying there. He wanted me to sign an NDA in order to show for me to see his report and then talk to him about it during a podcast. Like, he required that I sign an NDA to it, and everyone saw the response I gave. I wasn't happy about it. I'm still not happy about it, but I don't even care now. You know why? Because I'm glad I was able to. I'm glad I did what I did. I'm glad I said what I said, and I don't care. You know, I just don't. I'm happy about it. You know why? Because the reason is that, you know, no matter what happens here, I'm going to come out on top. There's no other way around it. Okay, say this guy is legitimate and he legitimately has this report, then at some point it will come out and it will corroborate everything that we've already been talking about. Okay, it's already proven, right? So this is just another a set of eyeballs that's going to reprove it, I guess. I mean, so I'll be a winner there. If it's the government trying to play a trick on me and get me to sign some NDA and in some kind of stupid effort to shut me up about it, okay, then I win again. And if it's some debunker, like, you know, I don't know, it could have been trying to, one of the theories here that we've been talking, that a few people I know we've been talking about, is that it could be a debunker pretending that, you know, it's, that they agree with all of this stuff, and they're seeing how long they could string me along, and in the end it will show how quote gullible I am, end quote, right? And then it would bring into all the stuff that I've been all my Vegas assertions would be then construed as suspect, right? So that's what it could be. Well, one of those three, right? Which one it is, it doesn't matter. So again, if he, you know, he should just come out with it himself, just like I was doing, just like Scott Roeder did. Scott Roeder wasn't asking me to sign any NDAs before he talked to me. No. Why would you need to do that? It doesn't make any sense. But let's see what he had to say today. When he saw the video, this is what he initially wrote. He says, "Well, that's too bad. That's like giving up on an opportunity with almost 100% return on investment because you don't like something designed to protect you from significant loss from frivolous lawsuits." And I wrote back, I said, "If you have something, release it to the public yourself, like I did. Just don't ask the public to sign an NDA first." And then he wrote back, he says, "Sorry, it's for your own protection." Protection from what? Protection from what? From a video that's already in the public domain, an analysis of a video that's out there, that the family put out there for people to see and make up their own minds. We dug a little deeper and we found out that, yeah, there's evidence in that video that supports everything that those family members said, so it's already out there. NDAs are not required. But this is interesting. Let's see what he writes here. He says, "We are on the cusp here of a major breakthrough backed by a team of extremely credible scientists and engineers very well respected in the actual academic and R&D communities." Okay, that's great. That's great. But you know what? We already proved it. It's already there. It's already been proven, Aldo. It's already been proven. If you could provide additional proof, that would be great too. I hope you do. You could do it on your own. You don't have to have people signing you know, these non-disclosure agreements. That doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't. Anyway, let's continue. He says, "This has been sorely missing in the NHI, MUFON, ET, etc. fields, and we finally have an opportunity to break through it with the team we have here at AdeptNet 8i. We will be presenting our works at upcoming technical and scientific conferences with the appropriate NDAs in place. However, you have a chance to be first if that is something you desire." What are you talking about? I have a chance. I'm already first. What are you talking about? We mean Scott Roeder. We're first. You know, and if you do this and it comes out, I'm telling you, I'll be thrilled about it. I'll be thrilled to see it. I hope it does come. I hope you do come out. I hope you make a big TV show about it. You know, like a Skinwalker Ranch recurring every week. Whatever you want to do, go ahead. It's pretty great. With everything in place, here's it continuing here. It says, "With everything in place, your podcast will be the first airing of these discoveries before the conferences, which will include a fairly good high-level but scientific dissertation of the cloaking capability that was observed and a detailed dissertation of the scientific method used to unmask a literal squadron of NHI. Note that, quote, unmasking equals, quote, uncloaking, end quote, and other methods, including foreground sprite overlay, background sprite overlay, geometric fractals with differentiation, and much more, which is explained in detail in the report. The NDA in this case simply limits the discussion of the uncloaking technique to the high-level algorithm, which will actually be quite a lot of information, probably much more than most people who are not scientists or engineers can digest. Again, why don't you just come out with some other version of the report that dumbs it down a little bit so the public can understand it? I mean, I don't get, again, why don't you do that for me, right? I'm no scientist. Why don't you do it for me, too? Why, instead of telling me I need to sign an NDA before you'll sit down and talk to me. We simply can't talk about some of the actual devices, new technology developed at AdaptNet AI to do the uncloaking reliably, which of course you won't be able to do because you are not familiar with it. Note that the quote cloaking referenced here is in reference to that used by these particular NHI. So that's in it in this case, an NDA which covers the detailed engineering of the uncloaking technology we developed based on the observed cloaking employed by these NHI, which you would be in no position to describe regardless. Now, let me tell you what I am in position to describe regardless. I'm in position to describe that there are alien beings in that backyard, and they phase in and out of view somehow. And to me, right, it seems pretty obvious it's some kind of cloaking technology. If you guys figured out how they're doing it, oh, that's great. I can't wait to learn about it. I can't wait to make, information about the presentation that you're going to make to all these scientists and engineers after you have them sign NDAs finally gets leaked out. I mean, what are you talking about here? Anyway, bottom line, with regard to the NDA, we cannot discuss in detail the new uncloaking tech developed by AdaptNet AI. We can, however, discuss scientifically at a high level the newly discovered uncloaking algorithm upon which the tech is based. That, along with much more in terms of validating NHI presence with scientific certainty, is in the report. Well, I can't wait. Hopefully someday, maybe 10 years from now, after you talk about it in private with a bunch of people, maybe you'll share the information then. Whatever the case, right? We already have the proof. We already been showing it to you. I mean, there's aliens in there. I mean, there's the undeniable backbreaker UB. There's no question that's a little gray. That's what it is. It's a little gray. Mick West needs to take a good, hard, close look at that video. He needs to snap out of it. Snap out of it, Mick. Snap out of it. It's already been proven, Aldo, right? Again, whatever the case is here, is if it's you really did this, that's great. I can't wait to hear about it at some point in the future, right? I can't wait. I was hoping to be doing something soon, right? But that it doesn't matter to me. We already proved it, right? It's already out there. And then if it's some other kind of trick, government trick or something, I don't think that seems too conspiratorial. I have trouble believing that, but hey, who knows? Who knows? The Pentagon never responded to the letter. I mean, they have to know. I mean, I sent it to them and the Department of Energy. I mean, they never got back, right? So who knows? It could be. Why not? We know they're up to tricks like this. And then finally, if it's some debunker who thinks he's gonna prove to the world that, oh, look at this gullible guy, well, guess what? If that didn't work, it didn't work, if that's the case. So I don't care. Say what you want, do what you want. It's over. Like we talked about earlier this year, we already have the evidence. Scott Roeder was the first one to prove it, and if there's additional evidence that you're able to call out of that report, Aldo, more power to you. I can't wait to hear about it. Like I said, if it's 10 years from now, it doesn't really matter. It's already been proven. But I do look forward to seeing this report. If it does in fact exist, that'd be fantastic. I'm sure everyone is going to be very interested in it. But as far as what I was talking about earlier with the debunkers and the nonsense and the stupidity, here's a little video segment for Mick. You need to really look at this and then maybe start doing a little bit of homework, and maybe you better start thinking about a different tact, a different position. It's time to modify your position a little bit, Mick. I'm afraid to tell you, because it's over. There's proof that there's something here. I'm sorry. Okay, all you debunkers out there, this is the part of the video, part of the proof. You're watching it right now. You see the three family members, the three Kenmore family members, the father, Bobby, followed by his son, Angel and Joshua, all three of them armed with hand pistols, because they were witnessing 8 to 10 foot tall creatures in their backyard. You see them all stop as they see something, and they start backing out of the yard. Meanwhile, you could see the other creature, they didn't even notice it at the time, appear above the fence. You see its head appear above the fence. You can see the shadow. Look, there's a shadow that shows up behind the fence there. You can see it. It's not their shadow either. It's not their shadow. It's the shadow of this thing here, and I'll show you a close-up later. And also, you see there's a little head in here. You can't see it that well here, but I'll show you that a little bit later too. But as Scott Roeder, the crime scene reconstruction expert, pointed out, there's no way this could have been faked. The way those three of them all backed out at the same time, particularly Angel and the father Bobby, they both saw something at the same time, and they both reacted at the same time. There was something coming at them, and then they all all backed out at the same time, and you could see there was something there, something moving toward them. It was one of the alien creatures, and then meanwhile, as they were backing out almost at the same time, you could see this thing appearing, the head appearing above the fence, as well as the shadow of this creature appearing behind the slats of the fence. Right there is the head, momentarily, and so that was this is just part A of the. Here's a close-up of it. You could see, you'll see this little head pop in here a little bit. There it is, right there. You see it, and then there's movement, and then meanwhile, here comes the other thing above the fence, and it materializes for a few seconds. There it is, right there, and this is now proven. It's now proven, Mick West and the rest of you debunkers out there. There's a presence on this planet. There is no doubt about it. It's been proven. It's been proven. Now look at this. There's a black and white of just the creature chasing him out of the yard. You can see right in there. You see it? What is that? It's not a raccoon, and it's no coyote. It's not a raccoon and not a coyote. Look at that thing. What is it? What is it? It's an alien. That's what it is. It's a non-human intelligent creature. That's what it is. Just like the witnesses stated. That's what it is. And then now I just want to move on. I'm going to do a close-up of the other thing. The thing above the fence. You watch this thing. There's no doubt about this. No doubt about it. You can see this thing moving in. This isn't. I just have it on a loop. There you see it. There you see it. You see it. Here's a close-up of it. This is just like 6 frames worth. You can see the eye here and eye here. You can see a head. It was whatever it was doing, it prevented the camera from filming it properly, because in that little area of the video, 66% of the pixels were missing. But this, what you're seeing right here, an eye there, this is the head. And this is what they were describing. This is what they described. They were describing creatures like this, 8 to 10 feet tall. And obviously this is at least a 6-foot tall fence here. And so this thing towers above the fence. And you could also see a shadow behind it. If that wasn't enough for you, if you want to try to pretend that that's all shadows, and if that's what you want to try to do, before we even move on there, look at it. Here's a still picture of the creature right here that appears above the fence. Eye. This is its head. See, it's real. It's real. I'm not getting into the whole story here just for this little piece here. But I think it's important. And then more recently, in the more recent months, we've been talking about this. We call them UB. You know how like ET, the extraterrestrial. This is called UB, the backbreaker. This ends the debate. In addition to everything else that we've been pointing out. Look at this. There's a gray alien right there. Look at him, as big as life. There, he turned his head for you. Look at that thing. Look at, no doubt, eye, head. No question about it. Look at this thing, no doubt about it. And then look at how, obviously they're using some sort of technology to hide themselves. Look at how it just disappears in some sort of a mist. But let's watch the beginning again. Even before it comes into plain view, you could see a distorted version there. Look at, there's an eye there. There's an eye there. You can make out the head, but it's distorted. It's barely discernible, but it looks like alien, just like everyone always said, the descriptions that have always been passed around. Then all for a few brief seconds you see it, and there it's looking right at you, and it turns its head. It's there because it's real. There's really a presence here. And the debunkers like Mick West and Stephen Greenstreet and all these other clowns out there who are pretending that there's nothing to this, are they setting us up for failure because of their fear? And look at, not only that, let me just point out one other thing. I did here's an AI. I used an AI animator that's part of my editing program, and it recognized the face of the creature here too. UB. Here's UB. This is the real one on the right. Here's the animated version on the left. You can see that even the computer, the AI program, recognizes that there was a face there. Look at this. Amazing. It's undeniable. That's why we call him the undeniable backbreaker, UB. The debate is over. It's done. And this is only the tip of the iceberg. We've been talking about there's other creatures in this yard, or was other things other than these things right here. And so it's over, and you need to start accepting it. And this is, look at this. Look, oh my God, I can't even imagine. Let's look at the full version one more time. Look at this thing. Look at how it is. Look at that. Do you feel that? You understand now why we call him the undeniable backbreaker? Because now it ends this whole nonsense that you guys have been talking about for all these years, that there's nothing to it. Because this doesn't look like there's nothing to it to me. This looks like there's something most certainly to it. Most certainly to it. Look
There it is. Just like everyone has been trying to tell you, these are the creatures responsible for all the UFOs, that the mysterious UFOs that people have been seeing for all these years. It's real, and there is most certainly a segment within the government that's been hiding this for all this time. There's most certainly a cover-up, no question about it. And you guys have been playing games for all these years, and here's the proof, and you won't talk about it. You know why? Because you're afraid. Look at, I guess, why wouldn't you be? Look at this. Look at that. Oh, it's distorted. It's distorted, but you see it. I know you see it. Look at it. It's there. There's no doubt. No doubt. And look at that. Here it comes. There it is. And look at that. Watch this. Watch it. Turn the head. See? It turned its head. It turned its head. And then it just disappears. It fades into the blackness of the night. But guess what? There was more. This is just the tip of the iceberg. These are the guarantees. There's no question about it. They're there. These were real creatures that those people saw in the yard. And you guys lying to people all the time, pretending there's nothing to this, acting sanctimonious like you know-it-alls, and you think you're right. But guess what? You're wrong. Mick West, you've been wrong the whole time. The whole time.
See that, Mick? See that? I hope that helps. Anyway, I want to say thank you all for joining me. Until next time.